From there, I filled out my rotation preferences for the next assignment, and unbeknownst to me what the culture of the whole system was, I thought it'd be nice to travel. Since I joined the Navy, why not see the world? So I put down Guam as my second choice. Well, that did it. Nobody who knows what's going on signs up for Guam, or didn't in those days. It may be more attractive now, I don't know. But in any case, I was definitely assigned to Guam and served there from 63 to 65 as an intelligence officer. I had two very unusual and very somewhat gratifying experiences while I was assigned there. During my first year, one day in the officers' mess, there was a discussion of an enlisted man who was a total misfit in the Navy, and not only that, but an abrasive personality. Someone who nobody who had ever worked with him could stand the guy. Later I learned the only reason he was in the Navy, he got involved in some low-level criminal activity and was told by the judge that if he didn't go into the service, he would go to jail. And that was his motivation for joining the Navy. So this should never happen, of course. That's a terrible, terrible policy. In any case, they said, a big problem is we're going to have a special court-martial for this kid. How the heck are we going to find a defense counsel for him, because everybody hates him? And I said, I don't know who the heck you're talking about, but I said, I don't know him at all, so I guess I could do it if you need somebody. I just have had the attitude, whatever the Navy needs, if I can do it, I'll do it. I'm very grateful to the Navy. I love the Navy, and I just want to serve as best I can. So, okay, I got assigned as defense counsel, only later learning that that really isn't a good idea. You're supposed to have fully qualified, preferably licensed attorneys handling things at the level of special court-martial or general, because the results can ruin a young man for life. So I looked into it and I found, oh yeah, this guy absolutely doesn't belong in the Navy, and the Navy has a perfect remedy for it. There is an administrative process that this guy meets all the criteria for. And here are the steps, A, B, C, D, E, F, you go through, and it takes 12, 15 months, but the guy goes out. He isn't ruined for life, but the Navy gets rid of him. In the meantime, you don't have to put up with him. You can kind of have him off on the side. So I gleefully informed the command they didn't have to go through a special court-martial. There was a remedy that better fit naval regulations. And they said, no, we're going to have a special court-martial. Well, that meant that I had to learn rules of procedure, rules of engagement, and like that. But back at Yale, I had had that elective course in the Yale Law School on jurisprudence, which gave me the history and philosophy of the British and derivatively American legal systems, with all the principles, philosophy, and ethics involved. And so I knew what ought to happen in a case like this, and all I had to learn was the mechanics of how to do it. So we went through it, and as is typical of people who don't know what they're doing, the prosecuting attorney had no qualifications, even less than mine. So of course they screwed it up, and it was very appealable. I did appeal, and oddly enough, although the appeal was very clear-cut in explaining why this conviction was invalid and could not be allowed to stand, the appeal was turned down by 2 or 3 levels of review, and ultimately got to the top, to the Court of Military Review. And their reversal was very adamant and frankly expressed shock that the lower levels had not understood how the law is supposed to be applied. And there were multiple errors in the proceedings, and the whole thing was really improper to begin with, which my appeal had claimed. So it got overturned, but by then he had served his 6-6, which probably was useful in educating this young man, because he didn't belong in the Navy, should never have been there. But it did reverse the BCD, and eventually he got back the money. So the interesting thing that happened as a result of that, I was called up to the legal office for the Admiral on Guam, Comnab Marianas, and the lawyers there sat down with me, and they said, well, this is very interesting. They said, we had no idea that you were a Yale graduate. If we'd known that, we'd have paid more attention to the appeal in the first place. I couldn't believe it. I just threw up my hands, and I said, well, at least it's all straightened out now. So we shook hands, and that was the end of it. But it left an impression on me. It makes me wonder how well the JAG people are trained in reading both the law and understanding the jurisprudence involved. Any case, that was the end of my legal experience, fortunately. However, it left me in not good, shall we say, affective standing with the command. They were kind of ticked off that they got slapped down. And that's my fault, of course. So they saw a chance to ship me out for a while. There was an Army-run exercise called OMI, in this case 4, Roman numeral IV, in Taipei.